So you have all these other false camps, and you know, they ain't teaching the truth that the mark of the beast is the RFID chip, which you know, 3,000 more people in Sweden have taken this chip. You know, and are bragging about how great it is, that you can use it to unlock doors and do all these great things. You know, but you know, ISUPK will tell you that it's a philosophy. Well, if it's a philosophy or an embargo, then you know, we've all had failed philosophies. You know, because we're just trying to get out from Esau, the so-called white man, and his philosophies. You know, so we definitely know it's not Christianity, because most of us came from Christianity originally, but we figured out somewhere that they weren't teaching us everything. It's like, well, you know, it was a big Rubik's Cube that they couldn't figure out. They couldn't solve it. You know, Esau was trying to peel the stickers off and put them here and there to try to piece the thing together, but it all fell apart, you know. And a lot of us, you know, we the elect had gotten away from that. It's because, you know, we've seen what Esau was trying to do, and once we figured out who he was. So, you know, again, you know, the microchip is the mark of the beast. It is the RFID, and that's what's being pushed, you know, throughout the 4 quarters of the earth. You know, Venezuela has it, Sweden has it, 50 employees in Wisconsin have it now, you know, who volunteered, but eventually will not be on a voluntarily basis. But people are getting that microchip in their right hand or forehead, you know. And that's the mark of the beast, you know. And all these other camps, they ain't going to tell you that, because they sold out to Esau. And so I'm going to read out of Revelation chapter 15. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is spilled the wrath of Yahweh. And what is that wrath? That is the cup of wrath of his indignation, the thermonuclear war, you know, the final judgment that's coming to Babylon the Great, America. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire. You know, this is giving you a description on what these missiles do. And them that had gotten victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. That is, those of us that went up in them chariots, you know, that had overcome this, you know, that either were put to death or just pretty much had refused to take the mark of the beast. And they sang the song of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord Yahweh Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Yahweh, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments have been made manifest. And that is when he starts pouring out these judgments, which you could read about what these symptoms are from the radiation and nuclear missiles that will be hitting this place, as well as the missiles from them chariots. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was open. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their beasts girded with golden girdles. And that's another thing, is that all these images of Cesare Borgia, he doesn't even have a golden girdle, nor is he even clothed in majesty at all. No, he looks like a faggot. Why? Because Cesare Borgia was a faggot. These Edomites are faggots. And they declare themselves to be like the Most High. And one of the 4 beasts, which had the 7 angels, and even the 7 vials full of the wrath of Yahweh, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with the smoke from the glory of Yahweh and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. And this is talking about the thermonuclear destruction that's coming to America, Babylon the Great. You know, that's been the whole hammer of the earth, been the hammer of Esau, who has subdued all the nations. So, and it's also going to hit a lot of places on earth. You think that these missiles are only going to hit in America? No, it's going to hit everywhere. You know, but again, you know, people, they just, you know, here it is. Jake just walked by not too long ago, didn't want to hear the message, you know, just says, well, how do you know so much, you know? and was mad at me because I was telling the truth, you know, that they've been lied to. That the image of Cesare Borgia is not the true biblical image of our Savior, and that the Savior came to save us, not the whole entire world, but came to save his elect. That's the whosoever John 3:16 was talking about. So, you know, to dissolve us, you know, they've been sending black Christian G-men to our camps, you know, especially the main camp in New York. And to try and dissolve us. Well, where is it said that Yahweh or Yahushua is in the Bible? Well, again, that's where the faith comes in, because, of course, you know, the so-called white man lied to us about his name, you know. And so he's just trying to push the Jesus is God doctrine. And we all know that Jesus is a fictional name, you know, and that you go into Jesus Christ, you know, it just means blessed, anointed. And so their blessed anointed is Cesare Borgia, which is why we don't teach in the name of Cesare Borgia, of Jesus Christ, or of or just God. No, we call him by his Father's name and the Son's name, Yahweh and Yahushua. You know, that's the names that we teach in. And so G-Man, the black Christian, well, of course they pick him because, of course, we tore the shit out of Vigilant Christian Super Mario, and we tore the shit out of Vocab Malone, you know. I mean, they'll come back with them, of course they will, but, you know, it's just to try to dissolve us, to say that we're just a cult. Well, of course, because only the whosoever is a small number anyways, as in comparison to the entire world, and the word world meant people. So he came to see the elect of his people. That's what whosoever, and that's what world means. So the whosoever in John 3:16 is talking about the elect of his people, of the Israelites, of Yashala. And you see, the rest of the world can't accept the fact that, you know, this does not include them, you know. That you just, you know, you can't just all of a sudden convert to this, because we're not a religion. We were born with this. We were born, you know, first of water, which is the part of this living word, and then we were given his spirit to understand these things, you know. So from water and of the spirit, we have the true baptism, which is the fullness and the understanding of the words of the Most High, and we're proclaiming it. Always before a civilization is destroyed, prophets were sent to speak of the coming destruction. And so we know that this second death is by thermonuclear war. And, you know, and for anybody that takes the mark of the beast in the right hand or forehead, that, you know, is the RFID chip, unlike all these other camps, they'll tell you lies, because they've been paid off by Esau. You know, so Esau, you know, is desperate now, not just to save Christianity, which can't be saved anyways, because that thing has been dissolved. You know, most of the world's going to believe it, and they're going to follow the rest. But you see, it's only for the elect of his people. That's the whosoever, you know. And, you know, it's like a Rubik's Cube. They can't figure out the Bible. You know, that's why Esau can't teach the Bible correctly. You know, and the 501c3 church, you know, they, well, we don't teach out of Revelation, or we're not to know everything that's in there, or we really don't talk about that. We don't get into politics or religion. It's like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Oh, you mean to keep your tax-exempt status? You see what I'm saying? And they're never going to tell you that the Messiah is black, or they had white woolly hair. You know, IUIC might tell you that, or ISBK might. I'll give them that, but they won't tell you the rest. They won't tell you what his real name is, you know, and they'll just tell you that it's an embargo, but they won't tell you that the mark of the beast is the RFID implement, you know, that you can't buy, sell, or trade unless you have it. And that's going to be mandatory very shortly here. Donald Trump is pushing this, you know, as well as the wars. You know, he wants to destroy Syria, and he wants to destroy Korea. Why? Because America is losing its value of the dollar. So he wants to keep that going by continuing these wars. Because all these other countries are lining up with Russia, because at least Russia delivers on its promises. What does America do? It never delivers on its promises. It lies, you know, just like they did to the Native Americans that were here. They lie, and then they come in and attack while the men are hunting. They come in and destroy the villages. That's what Esau always does. The so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, you know. And our people get mad at us for pointing that out. But it's true. You know? Every peace treaty that there's ever been, what happens? Then they get attacked. You know? Pretty much Esau is that Trojan horse. You can't believe a damn word he says. Oh, we come in peacefully. You know? And that's why all these other places, you know, they're starting to line up with Russia, because Russia's starting to deliver on their promises, you know, to be protected from Babylon the Great, America, you know. So again, you know, Libya's lining itself up with Russia. They want America out of there, as well as Iraq. Iraq is eventually going to line up with Russia too, you know, because they want America out of there, because all that America ever does is train terrorists and destroy countries just to benefit the pockets of the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. You know, that's who's really running shit. It's not Donald Trump, the apprentice, you know, and his real name is Drumpf, by the way. That's what his surname really is. But, you know, people don't do their research, but we do all our research, you know. And the fact is, though, is that these prophecies are coming to be fulfilled very shortly here, you know. So, you know, if anyone should receive the mark in the right hand or forehead, you know, you're going to be judged by the thermonuclear destruction, and you're going to be destroyed by the Most High himself when he returns. You know, when he's destroying this fucking place, America, you know. But it's also good to finally see that America's starting to suffer for some of the things that it's done. The government itself is creating these artificial hurricanes and weather storms deliberately to lock people down, to make them take the mark, ultimately. And they're killing all the weak. They're killing the weak. Just like that homeless guy said, they're killing people in them shelters. That's why he wouldn't go. Yeah, that's what FEMA does. FEMA's the secret government. And everybody knows what the Walmarts are, you know. Oh, you know, even if they don't believe in so-called conspiracy theories, they've at least heard about it, you know, and begin to question things, because all of Esau's secrets have been revealed. The term Illuminati, before nobody ever even knew what that was, but now that's out there. Everybody knows what the word Illuminati means. Everybody knows who the Freemasons are, who all these groups are, you know, that these secret societies aren't so secret anymore. People know they know about the Bohemian Grove. They know about all these sacrifices, you know, just like the Roman Catholic Church. Everybody knows that there are pedophiles there, and that they let pedophiles go all the time. Because this whole thing, the lid has been blown off of this. You know, that the false image that they call Jesus Christ is really a black man with white woolly hair, but they're not going to tell you that. But it's out there now, you know. And Esau, like I said before, the so-called white man, he hides in plain sight, which is why he created Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty, showing you that the Most High was black, and it was his way of mocking at people, you know, that teach that. So, you know, their latest hitman is G-Man, which G-Man's come up against our camps before, but it's a desperation attempt, you know, because of the fact that it's now reaching the elect, the confusion of faces, people like me, you know, and people like others that don't look like they're black, Latino, Native American, you know, that look like the other nations, are starting to receive this truth, which are the Gentiles that Paul the Apostle was talking about. The Hebrew Israelite foreigners who look like the foreign nations, you know, and we're getting word of this truth, and we're going out and we're proclaiming it on the streets. And what can Esau do to combat that? He has to have, you know, Edomite-looking jakes or people that are sold out to Esau to come against us, which is why all these other fake groups like IUIC, ISGPK, you know, because these people are sellouts, because they wanted their fun in the sun with Esau. They wanted to dance with the devil, you know, and make music videos and have barbecues, you know, make rap videos, you know, having fun dancing with the devil. Well, that devil's going to stomp all over them, because, you know, pretty much they're going to take the mark. Of course they are. But they're going to be destroyed by the Most High at the very end. So we're telling our people to come out of them camps, you know, come out of them places. Because the so-called white man has control of them places, has control of them groups. They gave themselves control a long time ago, you know. And so this woe that comes onto them, it means war. War has come unto him. Death. Death has come unto those that dwell among the earth and the sea. The devil, Esau, comes with a full wrath because he knows his time is short. And that's what's happening. That's why the artificial hurricanes, and that's why all these wars, endless wars that can never be won, because the person they're looking for doesn't really exist, you know, or they just create another proxy. And that's what ISIS really is just a proxy army of the United States. I think most people know that by now, you know, that ISIS really works for the United States. It was just a way of going into Syria, you know, just like they went into Iraq because Saddam Hussein supposedly had weapons of mass destruction. They tried to do the same thing with Bashar al-Assad, but, you know, like everything else, they've been called out on it. Bashar al-Assad gave up all these supposed chemical weapons, so, you know, how could they even sell that narrative? But that's what Donald Trump is trying to do, is sell the narrative. You know, because that's all that these politicians do is just, you know, follow their leaders, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, the Ashkenazis, aka the Amalekites that call themselves Jews who really aren't, but are the synagogue of Satan. And this whole place is about to be destroyed. And that's why we're telling our people not to take the mark in the right hand or forehead. Don't take this RFID, implement. Things are going to get a lot more tough to where you're going to have to start making tougher decisions. But he that endureth to the very end shall be saved. And so what if you have to lose your life over this? This ain't life anyways. This place sucks. You ain't got no freedom. You're just working for the man just to buy yourself a couple more hours, you know. That's all it is. It's slavery. You were never free. You're a slave. But we're going to put the so-called white man into slavery, then we're going to get rid of his ass forever. And that's coming soon. And Esau knows it, and that's why all this desperation. So I hope this has been edifying, and, you know, again, I'll be out here again real soon. Shalom to the hopeful elect and to those watching.